You didn't know what cap rate was. I know what cap rate is.
Oh, bro,
he went in circles.
He went in circles. And when I saw that, I was like, all right, bro, you're a fraud. If you're going to take $120 million of investor capital, you better do your freaking homework and you better establish the right team.
Stop listening to people closest to you, often as friends, family members, coworkers, people that have never done the thing that you're looking to do, and start listening to people that have done the thing that you're looking to do.
If you stand for something, you're going to piss some people off, but also there's going to be people that are more attracted to you.
Hey guys, Jack McCall here. We are out here in...
I hate jumping on a meeting, everyone's sitting there saying, so what'd you do this weekend? And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing right now? Where's the agenda? Pull it open, let's fucking go.
Your Ferrari? Yeah. And what do you do for living out in Los Angeles to be able to afford a Ferrari?
I own my own consulting firm. I don't pay any taxes.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, we are hanging on the jet at probably 41,000 feet right now, en route to Tulum for our Tulum 2025 retreat. And I'm just grateful right now. I got some of the guest speakers, some close friends of mine on board. I got my man Carlton Dennis, my man Jack McCall, and my man Mikey Taylor. I'm so excited for this retreat. Thank you, boys. Welcome.
Awesome, good to be here. What's going on, Rich? We are on a private jet down to Tulum. We are freaking stoked. My name is Jack McCall. I help people with business funding, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And Carlton's been on the pod a couple times. You guys have all been on the podcast a couple times now. I think Jack's been on 3 times. But first things first, man, we were talking just before we started recording. I know Carlton and yourself, Mikey, you guys play a lot of golf. We're talking Ryan Pineda just started his mastermind, his community in the golf space. And I know it's great networking, but I'm like, man, how do you guys do it? I love golf, but I'm like, I don't have the time to go out there 4 hours. You got to play a couple times a week to be good. And if I do something new, I want to be good at it. But it's time consuming, right? So how do you guys find the time to play golf at a high level?
So I actually copied Ryan's Golf with Ryan about 2 years ago. When he came out with that, I thought it was a genius idea. People could go to his website, book a call with him, pay $5,000 or $10,000, come out and fly out and pretty much spend a whole day golfing with him. So he turned that into a 7-figure business just by hanging out and golfing with people. I thought, well, if clients are looking to learn business strategies from me, tax planning strategies, what if I create a website called Golf with Carlton? I do the exact same thing. I had 0 golf skills, 0 golf knowledge when I set this up. So this actually forced me to learn golf. So I bought a pair of golf clubs like for $400, like my little beginner set. And I went to this place called Golf Tech, and I got a golf instructor, and we met for about 6 weeks, every single week for twice a week, 30 minutes. Only 30-minute sessions, you can learn how to play golf if you're doing it consistently. And so I would say after about 6 weeks, I knew how to hit a driver and I knew how to putt. All of the other clubs, I was still figuring out which ones to grab for in the bag. But over time, as you start playing with people, you honestly just start copying what other people do, bro. I honestly believe that's how most people like get good at golf, is they just mimic other people's swings or they mimic what people reach for in the bag. So when I first started having clients fly out, I'll be honest with you, they were a lot better than me. I was losing a shit ton of golf balls, so I would kind of stop playing golf halfway through the match, and I would just consult them. But over time, I was able to make it through a whole golf match without losing all of my golf balls. And now I'm about 2.5, 3 years in, and I'm playing about once or twice, I would say, a week.
Okay, so three years in, what's your handicap now?
I probably plus 10.
That's pretty good, bro.
Psycho.
That's pretty good.
Very good.
I like
That's
that.
really good. You know what I'd recommend?
Huh.
It's not much to do a golf simulator. So go put a simulator in your office. And you work, you peel out, you hit balls for 30 minutes, and then you step right back in the booth. That's probably the easiest way for you to get good quick if you're concerned
is that
about
what
time
you do?
management. No, I learned how to golf before I started this company.
I've been to your office. You got a big space, bro. You got the square footage for it.
Well, listen, I started golfing about 12 years ago.
At what age?
I was 32.
Okay.
Damn.
I'm 32 right now, and I haven't started
So I
playing
picked
golf.
it up when I designed my new office. This is about 4 years ago. And we're in about 9,000 feet. And it was to grow, right? And I wanted to do a simulator. And I, breached the idea to 2 of my partners. And they were like, absolutely not. Because for me, it's not about practice. I would be seriously on that thing 24/7. So it was more like we need your attention here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. When I'm in the office with a team, like I want them to know that like I'm here for them and I'm here to grind.
Yeah.
But I can see that. I was taking lessons a couple years ago, and it was good. It was good, and then I traveled a little bit and I got over it. But maybe I got to get back out there. How often are you guys playing around though? Because you can't do a 30-minute round.
I'm doing probably 3 a month.
Three a month?
Three rounds a month.
Yeah, I would say
That's what
about
I thought.
3 to 4 rounds a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad. So a lot of what we do as entrepreneurs is trying to maximize our efficiency, try to find creative ways to create more output, whether it's through leverage, through our team, but also through our personal schedule. So one thing I did earlier this year, and I'm curious like what things you guys are doing to really maximize your output, because let's face it, the more we grow, the busier we get, and the more opportunities we got to learn to say no to. I always say this game's all about, starting is all about saying yes, growing is all about saying no. So one of the things I did at the beginning of this year to get a lot of my time back was I took my entire work week, Monday through Friday, and I stacked it, all my deliverables. I stacked it into Monday and Tuesday. So Monday I go in the office, I have my level 10 team meeting at 8 a.m. God bless the team for being down to ride with me at 8 a.m. on a Monday. And then I go right into my one-on-ones. And all my one-on-ones, I have the team send me an agenda. And if I don't get an agenda before the meeting starts, I don't do the meeting. And it's a way to take a 30-minute meeting and shrink it down to 5 minutes. Very efficient. And if we don't need to have a meeting, we don't do a meeting that week. Yep. And then I end the day on Monday with a one-on-one call with my business coach every single Monday. Tuesday, I'm shooting 2 to 3 podcast episodes in the morning. I'm going right into my hotel community call, my 7-figure community call. If I host a webinar, it's Tuesday night. It's typically a 12-hour day, but I get to the end of Tuesday and I got nothing on my calendar Wednesday, nothing on my calendar Thursday, nothing on my calendar Friday, nothing Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't mean that I'm not working, but it allows me, I'm always working, but it allows me to focus on working on the business, not working in the business. And that simple hack has 10x my output. So I'm curious for you guys, what hacks are you guys utilizing right now to really maximize the output for you personally?
Honestly, I'm doing the exact same thing, just a little bit differently. So I used to have meetings scattered all throughout the week because I didn't like to take too much on in like one day. I would be like, okay, like I don't want to be back to back. I want to be able to get up from my desk and see the sunlight and go for a walk. And then I realized, dude, I hate being at my desk every single day. So Mondays is meeting Mondays. I start my meetings at 8:30 and I'm in meetings all the way until 4:30. I have every single meeting delivered to me on Monday. Marketing meeting, finance meeting, budgeting meeting. We do our forecast meeting, our 2026 planning meeting, so I can buy back more time in 2026. All of those meetings happen on Monday. Tuesday's my content day, so my guy will show up to my studio at 8 o'clock. He sets everything up for me. I get out of Pilates at 9 o'clock. So when I walk into the studio, all the lights are already on, my teleprompter's already set up, he's already loaded in 20 freaking scripts for me. So I will rip YouTube videos for like 5.5 hours, and then we transition after lunch to short form for the remaining 5.5 hours. I'm putting in like 10, 11 hour days on Tuesdays. That's every single Tuesday. So like all my meetings get done, and then all my content gets done on Mondays and Tuesdays. Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays is where I'm typically doing one-on-one calls, or I'm looking at things that I can do to be more valuable to my employees. Most of my employees right now are learning advanced tax strategies. The best teacher is the CEO. So I'll put dedicated trainings on the calendar where it's like an ad hoc. Everybody come and I'll teach you the short-term rental strategy. I'll teach you how to read a cost seg.
And you'll do group stuff?
And I'll do group stuff with my employees. That's been working well because I'll then take the recording, add it into Trainio, which is the software we have. And then when new employees get onboarded, rather than me having to do all these trainings all over again, they're going in and going through those training videos when they get into the company. So that's allowed for me to be more efficient with building up my team because we're growing at a very fast pace. And my biggest pain point in my business is getting people up to the skill level to be able to communicate tax strategy. I can go get a CPA from a big 4 company, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, you name it, EY. But when you come into my world, if you don't know how to communicate tax strategy, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have, how long you've been in the fucking tax space. If you can't fucking communicate strategy, you're worthless. And so we spend about 6 weeks just going through intense strategy training. So that's where really I spend a lot of my time.
I love that. So you and I have a similar schedule there. It sounds like Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday is my content day as well. Yeah. Same with you. I love that. What about you, Jack?
For me, I actually like to have my Monday mainly for creative work. I jam-pack my meetings from Tuesday to Thursday, strictly from 11 to 3 p.m. I like a slower morning. I don't like to just jump into meetings first thing in the morning. I like to do the creative stuff first thing in the morning, for sure. But I've definitely learned over the several years to be as protective of your time as you possibly can. Don't let anyone just join a meeting. Like Carlton mentioned, there should be a specific agenda to the meeting that you're gonna cover. And if someone else can handle a meeting with that specific person that wants your time, then perfect. Have your team member meet with that person to protect as much of your time as possible. Because if you think about it, 6 to 8 work hours in a day, if someone takes an hour block from your time, from your day, it's a significant amount of time. And so I'm just very protective, and it's nice to have a personal assistant that can help guard that calendar.
Yeah, I feel like a good EA is everything. And I agree with you, like as far as protecting your time, if I take a one-on-one or a meeting, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but it's got to be in the afternoon. So that way I know no matter what, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the morning, it's my time, whatever I want to work on. What about you, Mikey?
It's similar to both of you guys, or to all three of you. And it's interesting because this is a trap that it's very easy to fall into, that you're the CEO, you're the visionary, you're the leader that you mentioned, and then before you know it, everyone on the team wants to constantly talk to you. So you run into this scenario where you're trying to work and somebody comes in and it's a distraction and a distraction. So what I found, it's difficult for me to move from creative to task. I have to completely separate those out. So I have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that is completely focused on the big picture stuff. If I get this rock accomplished, it moves the needle in a big way. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, from the second I get into the office till I leave, it's stacked meetings, right? Meeting. And if you ask like how I feel accomplished, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I feel worn out and I feel like I didn't get anything done.
Yeah.
Wednesdays, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I go, we did big work. But they all actually need to work with one another, so that's how I structure it. And then like you, I have a wall. I have somebody that blocks everything for me and then accepts people in the door. That's, I think, a really big one.
So you said something that I resonate with. When you go into the office, you're getting pulled in all these different directions. Same thing with me. I come in the office, as soon as the team gets there, it's like distraction. It's really hard for me to focus. So when I'm like in a season of like really moving the needle, I have to get there early, and I try to get there an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours before the team shows up, and then that's where I'm moving the needle. But I'm curious for you, how do you block out those distractions when everyone's pulling you in all these different directions in the office? It happens. And sometimes it's conversations that need to happen right then and there, and you just have to address them and make a decision and go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a really good point. You have to create boundaries. And so I did two things. Number one, I mentioned to the whole team, this is what I'm going to be doing. And on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you do not have access to me unless it's an absolute emergency. And even in that case, they go to my assistant, not me, even if they work for us. So that was the first part.
That's good.
And then the second part was kind of articulating why you're structuring it this way. And so it was kind of hard. Like I remember writing the email to everybody going, I don't know how this is going to be perceived, but what we're currently doing, it's not working. And then the other component on my door, I have a do not enter, right? It's a big plaque. And so if that door's closed, you do not have access. And then I directed everybody that it's no longer one-on-one. Like you have to go to Tawny to then see if you can access me on the days that I have basically a no-go. And that's how we did it.
I like
Yeah,
that. I like
that's
that.
really great. And actually, one thing I'll add there is if there's a problem in the company that maybe needs to get brought to me, I require a couple proposed solutions from that person bringing the problem to me. So they come on a meeting with me and say, hey, this emergency is happening, but what I think we should do is either option A or option B. So they already think about it, they're already proposing options, and it makes it easier for me to say, okay, we should do option B because X, Y, and Z, and then move forward.
That's good.
Save the time.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's really good. So right now, AI is obviously becoming very trendy. A lot of people are integrating AI into their businesses. Some people to other extents than others. One of the ways that we're using AI very uniquely right now is we've recently just implemented an AI employee at every single one of our hotels. We tested it at one hotel, and it's an AI, basically concierge. Has her own name, has her own personality. She will text guests. Her name's Brooklyn at one of the hotels. We tested it. And she's texting guests prior to check-in, helping them with check-in instructions. She's helping them with restaurant accommodations, things to go out to do, hiking trails, daytime activities, and even bringing in additional revenue and like early check-in fees, late checkout fees, pet fees, all that stuff, and then driving 5-star reviews on Google. And it worked really well. She'll like text in like a blue iMessage, and she'll like use emojis, she'll have her own personality, she'll stagger her response times, and she'll even have intentional spelling mistakes so it looks like a real human being. And like when I went over to the hotel a couple times just to pop in, I'm talking to guests in the lobby, like, hey, how's your stay? And they're all like, a lot of them were like, hey, like our stay was amazing because of Brooklyn. She helped us with restaurant accommodations, rooftop bars, lounges. So even like tell them what to order at the best restaurants, which is really cool. And I was like, damn. And these are like people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they had no idea they were talking to AI. And so I was like, okay, cool. Let's go all in on this. Let's create one for each of the hotels. And so that's been a big boost for us. But I'm curious for you guys, what's a unique way that you're implementing AI into your personal strategy? I'll start, Carlton.
Yeah, first off, that's an amazing idea, and I have some questions for you around that. But we started incorporating AI at the beginning of the year, I would say right around January. Last year, September, I started creating what's called a knowledge base. Essentially, I took all of the questions that we were getting asked. We use Slack channel. I pulled them out of Slack channel, I put them onto an Excel document, and then I put all of our responses on there, and I audited our responses based off of IRS compliance to make sure that all of the responses that we're giving, responses that Carlton Dennis would give. Over time, I was able to kind of split it up into categories: LLC questions, S-corp questions, retirement questions, foundation questions, short-term real estate questions, long-term rental questions, 1031 exchange questions, to the point where this database got full with over 1,000 questions. Then I got with this company that allowed for me to create a bot that could be set up as a tax alchemy bot. So I can place it into every person's Slack channel. So if anybody asks any one of the questions that have been approved by my bot, it could provide a approved response that I've already validated. Once we incorporated this, we rolled it out to 10 Slack channels in January, rolled it out to 100 Slack channels by June. We're now at like 700 Slack channels that have access to it.
700?
700 of our clients have access to it now. We've improved response times by like almost 100%, bro. Because when you think about it, a tax strategist that's on a call has to get off the call, look at your situation, and then provide your response. But if you ask a question and they already have the answer based off of something generic that you're asking, the response times can go up. And especially if you're asking questions in the middle of the night, right? If you have a question at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, your tax professional is not going to get back online until 8 a.m. The Talcumist bot can respond for you.
That's pretty good.
It's been absolutely amazing. And so now we've taken some of that and started morphing into allowing for our bots to start helping us set up LLCs. And helping us build out flowcharts. Yeah, absolutely.
How do they set up the LLCs?
Well, you think about it, it's just a step-by-step process. It's the same process to set up an LLC for everybody. I have to go to the IRS website, apply for an EIN number. I have to file your articles of organization at the state website. So if I have the step-by-step process, I can teach a bot to do it. I teach a bot to go to the exact same places and input data for me. So that's what we're working on. And the second thing we're working on is creating flowcharts. So, you have a bunch of LLCs, whether they're owned by Wyoming, whatever. That flowchart that you have has to be updated by a human every time you get a new business or a new property or a new LLC, right? What if you could talk into a bot that can create the flowchart for you? And then every time you buy a new property, it just adds onto that flowchart. So that's essentially what we're doing right now with AI, is we're getting AI to take tasks that are already being done by my tax pros and trying to remove it off of my tax pros plate to open up their bandwidth so they can be more valuable to our clients just with their availability.
That's so good. The VA game was very popular the last 10 years. Everyone's leveraging VAs, cheaper labor, down in Mexico, South America, the Philippines. We've had a team of like six or seven full-time VAs for quite some time now. But what's happening with the AI bots is it's replacing all those VAs, because the AI bots are way smarter, way more consistent, and it takes all the variables out of the VA game. So that's one thing I'm noticing. What about you, Jack? How are you implementing AI today?
Yeah, so funny you say that about the VAs, because I still have a large VA team of about 25, primarily from the Philippines, also down from Costa Rica. But it's just incredible when you can hire talent for $4 to $6 an hour instead of an American paying them $30 an hour, and the Filipinos possibly doing a better job. So we haven't shifted a bunch to AI yet, but one thing specifically that's been helpful is a software called AIpreneur, and you can basically put in a business profile. So the AI understands what your business, what your offer, what your call to action should be, and then this AI, the software connects to all the different language models, and you can use different prompts through the software to make things like different VSL scripts, different ad scripts, different website copy, etc. And instead of taking 10 to 20 hours to make a really badass 15-minute VSL script, this makes the foundation of it in 10 seconds, and then you can spend 30 minutes to 60 minutes on dialing it in. And I just did that last month, and it saved me so many hours, just because you train it on what your business is, and then it runs on top of all the different languages.
That's really good. And one thing I love about what you're doing is you and your brother actually fly out to go visit the VAs, take them out, do fun activities with them, show them a little love, which I think is unique, man.
Yeah, I think it's so important to build that in-person relationship. I remember after I sold my travel company and started working for a larger organization, the first thing they did is bring out the 200 employees to this private island in the United Kingdom, and it was just so much different when you meet people in person. And so I wanted to do that same thing in our company where we have a retreat and meet the 20 or so Filipinos we have. We got a beach resort and all visited them, and it's our company has never operated so well after that in-person retreat. So highly recommended.
I love that. What about you, Mikey?
All right, so we're basically only using AI in marketing and sales.
Okay.
It's not there yet for management, or at least we don't believe it is, because we are running so many investors, and we're not totally comfortable giving that type of management over to a bot yet. But on marketing, it's helping with copyright. On sales, it's tapped in now to the CRM we use, which is HubSpot, and it's helping give good information to our sales team to go, this was done well, this was not, this is a, what we view as a high action or a hot lead, and then they're helping with follow-up and tracking. So those are really the two ways we're using it. It's going to be huge for my industry. It's just not totally there yet. Like, it'll start underwriting all our deals for us. We won't have analysts anymore. It'll get to a point where it's doing all of our accounting. It's just still needs a little bit of room for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'm gonna have some good conversation with you because you're dealing with taxes. It's a similar dynamic to.
Well, I got a question for you. Why do you like HubSpot over Go High Level? What was it about HubSpot?
HubSpot for us offered a lot more. It felt more robust, but it also felt more built. Like Go High Level allowed you to do a lot of different components, but for what we needed, it was specifically helping with marketing, helping with tracking, helping progress the pipeline, and then it was the system that our marketing team wanted plugged in so that, how our company is, we have our marketing team, we have our callers, we have our sales team. That was the system that brought everybody in the best. Yeah. But we started with Go High Level. We went from Go High Level to HubSpot.
Nice.
Yeah.
You like it a lot better?
I do, but truthfully, I don't really have to be in it.
That's true.
But for the overall
really
company, I like it, as the CRM for the company.
It's funny because we have Go High Level, and like you, I don't really know how to use it too well, but the team knows how to use it, and they like it, seem to like it. But yeah, that leads me to the next question. Operating system. Obviously you guys running companies, it's easy for things to feel disorganized, and obviously like everything coming down to your numbers, having the right operating system is big. Personally, what we use EOS out of the book Traction with Gino Wickman. So we run L10 meeting every single Monday morning. We have a scorecard. We have weekly KPIs and monthly KPIs. Team has issues throughout the week. They can put their issues onto the board. We'll talk about it every single Monday morning. We'll go through the issues list. We'll collaborate on solutions, and we can really effectively run the entire week out of this one meeting. And it's very clear. One person for each KPI, right person, right seats, and it's been a game changer for me. We've been running about 3 years now, and but I know there's different operating systems out there. Curious, what operating system and approach are you guys taking to really running the business?
So since I run an accounting firm, it's a little bit different than what you guys probably operate with. So I do have Go High Level, but then I have this program called Canopy, and what Canopy will allow me to do is kind of track every single project and create dashboards. I operate out of pod systems, so I'll have a tax senior at the top of the pod, I'll have a tax specialist, and then I'll have like a tax admin. And each one of those pods needs to support itself. You have your own book of business. So each pod may have 200 clients or 180 clients that they're dealing with. I'm tracking what's the renewal rates on those clients, how fast are you getting to the first quarterly call, the second quarterly call, the third quarterly call, why is my pod 3 trending down where pod 1 and pod 2 are trending up based on how many calls that they're able to get out and how many renewals are happening. So I managed completely off of dashboards in Canopy. And then I can start to see based off of how long my, we have this software, I'm not gonna know the name of it, but I'll message my COO. We have this software now that attaches to Slack channel, so I can see now how fast it takes my employees to respond to somebody. So if you're getting a message in Slack and someone specifically tagged you, what if you're not responding for 5 hours and you constantly take 5 hours to respond? Well, that's an issue in my firm, right? So response time is what makes us so valuable. And so now I'm tracking how fast people are responding over Slack channel and who's responding the most. So I can reward people and bonus people out for doing the most level of communication.
That's really good. What about you, Jack?
For me, I think we have a lot less meetings than most companies. I think the most important meetings, at least for what I do in helping people get business funding, is the sales team meeting, the sales management, and the advertising team. In terms of the fulfillment and customer service, we really don't have too many meetings at all. And I remember one of my mentors recommended to me to have daily meetings with my team. And I considered that, and I was like, everything is going so good with meeting not that often. And I reflected on it, and I think that's because I just happen to have really good people that keep themselves accountable and get things done. We have really good dashboards and trackers through a software called Plecto. So I think when a lot of information, all the KPIs are very easily to access and people hold themselves accountable to those specific KPIs, then there's not a huge need for meetings, at least for in my company. And I met with the team and I said what the recommendation was for daily meetings, but I was truthful with them. I was like, I think everything is going fantastic just the way it is. As long as everyone shows up, holds themselves accountable, we stick to these awesome KPIs and keep doing just like we're doing, I think we're totally good with that.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm not a big meeting guy. I personally hate meetings. Two of my old partners that I used to buy real estate with back in the day, I actually, fun fact, broke up with them, left them, started Summers Capital because they did every decision they wanted to have a 4-hour meeting. I'm like, dude, you can't grow like that. You cannot grow like that. So I empower my team now. I'm like, let's just make quick decisions. I don't care if it's the wrong decision. Let's just make a decision and let's roll. And that compounded over weeks, over months, over years, versus the other person that's taken 4 hours for every decision is the difference between playing college basketball and making it to the pros. Mikey, what about you, man?
So everything you said is going to be in line with us. We use EOS, and so we do the L10s. We have the people over accountability of each pillar of our business and issues, rocks, the whole nine. It's beneficial. Yeah, it's a good system.
That's good. Yeah, it is really good. And then I'll even I empower for different departments. So we have an on-site meeting with all the hotel on-site staff, the VAs, cleaners, front desk, and so I'll have my team run L10 meetings with them. And then for our sales meeting, we'll run a separate L10 meeting as well. And it's just a way for these meetings to just rip, and it's consistent, and any issues, they're brought up right away, and it's good.
Meetings without agenda, I heard, is mental masturbation. Have you guys heard that concept before?
You're just hanging out at that point.
Right?
That's a lot.
I hate that. I hate jumping on a meeting, everyone's sitting there saying, so what'd you do this weekend? And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing right now? This is not how I want to be using my fucking time.
Yeah.
Where's the agenda? Pull it open. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
That's how we get on meetings. Who's running the meeting right now? When I hop on a meeting, someone has to be talking.
Yeah.
Who is leading this meeting?
I think that's very important. Have someone leading each
Everyone,
meeting.
every meeting has to have a leader of the meeting that's reading off the agenda and says, you go first.
And then to make sure the next point gets pushed forward efficiently.
And even the one-on-ones.
Yeah, even the one-on-ones. Have to have a meeting summary.
Yep. And if there's nothing to put on the agenda, I'm like, well, we don't need to meet. Easy as that. I think a lot about speed versus cost. It's a hot topic for me, and I think a lot about speed versus cost within business. Often the priority is speed, because money loves speed, and often the quicker we get things done, the quicker we can move on to the next thing, and the quicker we can grow, the more money we'll make, right? For most of us. But sometimes it's not always the case. Sometimes the priority is cost. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that we got a hotel with a roof that needs to be replaced, and summer's starting. We're in the middle of June. Well, we know rain season's not going to be till the wintertime. We have 6 months to replace the roof. The priority right there in that instance is not speed. I'm like, let's get as many bids as possible, and let's find the best bid that's going to do the best work, and that could be the big delta, and that could save us 50% in costs, right? And so in that instance, savings in cost is going to be the priority, not speed. And so for us as entrepreneurs, we often know right away what's the priority at speed versus cost, but our team doesn't always know the priority. And so communicating that with your team can be a challenge because they don't always know, and that always falls on our shoulders. And so if they think the priority is cost, but it's really speed, that's ultimately on our shoulders. But I'm curious for you guys, How do you guys approach speed versus cost, and how do you guys communicate it effectively with your team for every given instance?
Yeah, so I'm a visionary, and I found an integrator. I have a COO who's a great integrator, and my COO's job is to communicate my vision in the right way to the team, because if I communicate and do a lot of the communication, a lot of people would get scared and run away from my firm. I mean, tax professionals, when you tell them you're about to go onboard 100 people, that is like mentally draining on them to hear that.
I can imagine.
They need to hear like, we're going to be done November 15th. We're going to be done. They need to have like a date on when this all ends. And so I learned that over time. When you say, speed, I am at a decision right now where I was building up my podcast studio, and as soon as my podcast studio got built, I'm like, hold on a second. I see Tony Robbins, I see Dean, I see Russell Brunson speaking on these 3-day challenges with this gigantic screen behind them, and all these people are on Zoom. And I asked my video guy, I'm like, dude, what would something like this cost? Because I just spent $40,000 on building my podcast studio. And then he gets this sound engineer and this panel guy to come on to a Zoom call. They're like, Carlton, it's going to cost $200,000. I'm like, shit, I have an event coming up October 22nd, and I just built this podcast studio, which is great. I'll be able to do podcasts and stuff here. But damn, I just saw Tony and I just saw Russell do this. I want that.
Yeah.
How soon can I get this going? And I found out right then and there that it was going to take me 2 months to build it out. My event's coming up in 3 weeks. So I sent the wire, $250,000. Let's go order the panels. Fuck it. I'm going to build it out. We moved my entire podcast studio to a completely different area. The person who I ordered the panels from calls me and says, hey, I have another studio in Arizona that you can rent. Since you're so serious, I already called them for you. They were able to cancel the person that was going to rent there. It is yours, but only for these 3 days. I was like, listen, I will change my event from a 5-day event into a 3-day event because money loves speed. I've never tried a 3-day event.
Yeah.
Russell Brunson's done a 3-day challenge. I've only done 5-day challenges. This will be my first time doing a 3-day challenge. So now I locked in a venue in Arizona where I'll have the entire screen. This all happened literally less than 48, like literally this week. Wired the money for that. And now I'm going to be speaking in a completely new setting with a whole different AV setup, a whole different team, and now I'm doing a 3-day event instead of a 5-day event. I have to redo my entire pitch because money fucking loves speed, and I need to try this, and I need to get on the other side of this to know, is this successful for me? Is doing a 3-day more successful than a 5-day? Is me speaking where I'm not sitting at a desk and I'm standing up and I have all the screens behind me, does that create a bigger impact and a better conversion rate? I don't fucking know, but I'm going to find out by doing this. I could have waited until March when I do my next event, when all my screens and stuff are gonna be built out at my new space, but guess what? March is not for another 7 months. So I'm doing this right now, and my team can't understand it, but I've communicated to my COO, you need to communicate to them why I'm moving so quickly. You need to let them know why they need to get on board with this. And that's why I have a really good integrator. I have somebody that can communicate my ideas, because I'm straight visionary.
That's so good. And it's funny how when you take care of people, you can make a quick decision. Like you wired the guy $250,000, didn't even hesitate. They'll try to help you out. And also, like, when someone tells, like, we work with so many vendors all the time, and it's like, they say, like, the team will come back, like, hey, it's me 4 weeks. I'm like, okay, put them on the phone real quick. Like, all right, what would need to be true for you to do this in 1.5 weeks? And they're like, if you did this, this, and that, and we move this client, and we charge like an extra $1,000, like, we could do it in a week. Like, all right, let's just do that, Jack, what about you, man? How do you look at speed versus cost?
Yeah, I think one thing that comes to mind with that is hiring a fractional expert versus a full-time ding-dong is usually much better. So even if you're not in a position where you can hire a full-time expert, I found it generally better to at least get a fractional expert than a full-time ding-dong. I feel like any time where you hire someone mediocre, it ends up costing you much more based on all the mistakes that they probably make.
So true.
So sometimes it's hard to remember. Sometimes it's easy to cut the corner and save a couple grand here, a few grand here, but then when you remember the mistakes that they can probably make, it's going to become more expensive. So if you can't afford the full-time expert now, consider a fractional expert until you can get that full-time expert.
Right now, could you give me an example of where you're using a fractional expert?
For sure. Our advertising team right now, fractional team, and we don't have full-time in-house media buyers, but we use a fractional team, and they're absolute experts, and that's a really good way for us to go about it.
That's really good. I like that. What about you, Mikey? How do you look at speed versus cost?
I think it's actually a balance. So I'm like all of you. I'm built for speed. That's my natural kind of instinct. But I also know that speed breaks things, right? You're dealing with investors. Money loves speed. Investors hate loss. So how do you try to balance it where you're not a tech investor who's known for breaking it to move fast, but then picking up the pieces? That's not how real estate works. And so I would say we try to fraction it out. If we're actually building real estate, well, you can find some efficiencies, but at the end of the day, your entitlement window is your entitlement window. Permits is the same. Your construction is your construction. And as fast as you can make it, you're kind of held by that certain window, right? As far as the business goes, this is kind of more what you guys are talking about. We have the luxury to be fast on the business side. The business side, maybe it's increasing acquisitions, changing vision, but the actual management and then build out of our real estate, that's kind of the balance. And I would say last, like you, I brought a partner on to kind of counterweight my speed. Right? So I'm the one that's like, we can do this and everybody get on board and let's start running. And he's like, whoa. We can't break stuff, let's be prepared. And then what it ends up giving us is an actual detailed plan to run fast and around the potential. Yep, exactly right. So that's how we do it.
That's really good. I'm curious how you guys value the media side of your business, right? Because for us here with what I'm doing, there's really 4 arms of the business. We got, number 1 is the media. Number 2 is Summers Capital. We got investors. Carlton's an investor. We give them passive income tax benefits. We're deploying that capital to acquire hotels. And third arm is Summers Collection. We got to operate the hotels, right? Guests checking in, checking out. We got to drive the 5-star reviews, the maintenance orders, all that stuff at the properties. And then the fourth arm is the online education, the communities, right? And it all kind of wraps around. But for me, out of the 4 arms, I tell my team all the time, I'm like, guys, the number 1 arm is the media. Without the media, we don't have a business. The media drives all of our leads. And that's why with the podcast, it's a non-negotiable. 3 episodes a week, and I never miss an episode. I've been podcasting since 2019. I've never missed an episode. And I always say this game's all about being consistent. And so for us, the media is the number 1 thing. I'm curious, how do you guys approach the media for you and your personal relationship with your business and all that stuff?
Yeah, so for me, media is everything because it was actually how I got a voice and got a brand. In 2020, when we all went into a pandemic, I was posting videos on Instagram, and I ran into this guy at my apartment complex who it looked like he had no job, looked like he was a bum. And I found out that he was running a YouTube channel making like 1.3 million a year from just posting personal finance videos.
Damn.
But he wore sandals and board shorts around the apartment complex. I showed him my Instagram page, and he's like, bro, no one does tax videos on social media. I promise you. You're doing it on Instagram, but this is not where people want to learn tax. Take this video that you just did and go make it 8.5, 9 minutes long and put it on YouTube. So I did exactly that. I took the exact same video he told me to do and I put it on YouTube in a 9-minute video, and I got off YouTube and I didn't even look back. I went on YouTube 30 days later, I had 30,000 subscribers. YouTube had emailed me 11 times asking for my checking account number and my routing number.
In 30 days?
In 30 days, because one video had already paid me $10,000. One YouTube video. Then I was like, holy shit, I'm self-employed now. Like, I'm not just working at my mom's firm feeding business to her firm, I'm a YouTuber. Holy shit, I'm gonna set up a YouTube LLC. And the next thing you know, I'm not gonna film on my iPhone, I'm gonna buy a camera. And so I started posting 1 video a week on YouTube, eventually got to 100,000 subscribers, and I went to 2 videos a week. And then I hired an editor, I hired a team, and I eventually got to a point where my YouTube audience was asking, how do I work with you? Because we've been working with your mother's company, but they told us that you're on the sales side of it, we don't get an opportunity to work with you. That's when I decided to create my private client group. Tax Alchemy had its own private client group where I charged a high ticket to do something my mother wasn't doing. I'm gonna cater to high net worth individuals, millionaires, people that are movers and shakers in this world. And so my social media allowed for me to be able to do that. Now YouTube has been running, ripping and rolling. We're at like 1 million subscribers, and we just stuck to that, bro. Yeah, we just stuck to that. Two videos a week, Monday and Friday, consistent. My viewers know when to show up. And I would say 95% of all of our revenue every single year comes in from social media.
Well, what does your media team look like when you're putting together all this YouTube videos, the social media content, packaging it all up? What does your media team look like?
Yeah, so we have a main editor on my YouTube side. His name is Alex. So we work inside of Notion. As soon as a video gets filmed, my Dropbox will push the video over into Notion. He gets a notification to go in there and start working on the video. As soon as he's done editing the video, it goes to Bennett. Bennett's my copywriter. So Bennett had already wrote the script for me. So he'll come over the top and watch the video and be like, did Carlton nail everything that I wanted him to nail in this video? If not, he'll use AI Carlton, which we already created, to mouth over any words I stuttered on or to fix any of that. So we worked and built the AI Carlton almost a year ago.
That's so good.
So he'll make sure I sound good and everything's politically correct. Then we'll get the thumbnail specialist. Her name is Monica. She'll come in. She'll create 3 thumbnails for every single video. So we'll split test, A, B, C test those thumbnails. And then it's just about choosing the title. I choose the title. It's the one goddamn thing I do. I make sure I know the title of the video because the title is the most important, as well as the thumbnail. Those are the only 2 things I'll focus on.
And how do you approach title and thumbnail?
For me, I look at the video and I look at what is going to make this video be something that somebody's going to want to share with somebody else. And then I put that as the title. So how I saved $100,000 by switching from an LLC to an S-Corp. Holy shit. Someone's going to want to share that video with somebody, right? How I wrote off a G-Wagon in my first year of entrepreneurship. Holy shit. Someone's going to want to see that video.
How do you approach the thumbnail?
I don't do anything with the thumbnail. They do the thumbnail hacking.
Yeah.
What I learned about thumbnails is the more I mess around with the thumbnail, Carlton Dennis personally, the worse off the video performs. The more my thumbnail specialist messes around with the thumbnails, the better off the video is. So anytime I give her ideas, what if we do this, what if we do that, it never fucking works. So I just stopped giving my thumbnail specialist ideas and I just told her, just make 3 different thumbnails. Yeah. And that's what she does. So every time I get a new video, she'll make 3 thumbnails, she loads them up, whichever one hits is the one we roll with.
Yeah.
But I don't really play an artist in the thumbnail realm anymore.
I gotta say, between the 2 of you, Jack and Carlton, there's a lot of people trying to do credit card, travel hack content, and a lot of people trying to do tax content, but no one does it better than you 2. The way you guys break it down, it's very simple to explain, it's very relatable, authentic, and you guys can spit. Not everyone can spit. So it's no surprise to me that you've grown into 1 million subs in a short amount of time. How many years was that?
4 years.
4 years, 1 million subs. That's insane, bro. That's insane. Jack, how do you approach the media within your business?
Yeah, I think one thing that I haven't done yet that I totally should is start a podcast. But for me, the lowest hanging fruit was to be featured on as many podcasts as possible. For me, that's very easy to do, and it's an arena that I think I do okay in. I'm not a huge fan of the talking head content, although you're definitely an absolute beast at the talking head. I just like going on podcasts and getting that content. I think it's a great way to tap into other people's networks and also get that content that I can repurpose for YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, etc. But I do think it's very important to have an editor on your team along with a very good content manager that can be responsible for really pushing the needle forward. For a while, I realized I wasn't posting or producing enough. And I realized that was on me because I just wasn't the one pushing the needle forward until I hired a content manager to be responsible for pushing that forward. So that was a big hire for me. And I also think like when it comes to Instagram or just content in general, to really incorporate the cool things in life that you do. If you skateboard, post the skateboarding. If you shoot guns, post the shooting guns. And also, I think you do a good job of standing on things politically, which I really respect. And it's inspired me more to do. And I think if you float in the wind politically and stay in the middle, you know, there's pros to that. But if you stand for something, you're going to piss some people off, but also there's going to be people that are more attracted to you, which I assume because you've taken a specific political stance on your social media, that you piss some people off, but more people are attracted to you because they know they stand for similar things. I really admire that about you, Carlton.
Yeah, our business doubled when I made a stance that I'm conservative now. Like I'm putting it out there, I'm conservative. I'm tired of walking this whole line of showing you guys both sides of it. It's like, dude, this is what side I stand on, and whether you guys agree with it or not is totally fine with me. But just people seeing that I took a definitive stance, it gives people the confidence to know, like, okay, I know what that guy's about now. You know what I'm saying? Either I'm gonna mess with him because I know what he's about. I don't have to guess anymore what he's about.
Yeah, it's good to have an opinion. And one thing I will say about your strategy, Jack, is like, it's so smart. Anyone can just go do a podcast tour. It's easy to do. Everyone's got podcasts these days, but out of all the audiences out there, all the platforms, you got TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, and then you got the long form, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Out of all those audiences, hands down, the highest net worth audience, the most intelligent audience, the ones that are action takers, the ones that are going to become high ticket clients, investors of yours, is going to be the long form, whether it's YouTube videos, the long form, or podcasts, right? And so that's why I say the podcast and the long form YouTube videos is the most valuable audience, the highest ROI out there. So I love what you're doing. Mikey, how do you approach the media within your business?
It's so funny because you're the one that put me on the podcast, right?
And now you're ripping them, bro.
Yeah, you know, for me, I never wanted to be an influencer. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But I also knew the importance of marketing and social media. So in the beginning, I was almost overweighted on this kind of insecurity. I don't want to be the guy who, you know, creates this image of me running a business that doesn't actually run a business. I want to be the dude that actually did it. And so in the beginning, it actually was a hurdle because I was so in the weeds with our business. And then because of that, I only had limited time to create content.
Yeah.
For me, it was Patrick Bet David, right? At this point, this is probably 3.5 years ago, we're putting out maybe 3 original pieces of content a week, so not a lot, right? But like I've got like 500,000 followers. I'm doing my thing, and I go to Patrick's studio, and I'm with my partner, my COO, and we're getting a tour with Patrick, and I just feel like the most humbling, like I am in the little leagues, right? Seeing what he was doing, and he was a good example of somebody who actually built a business and then paired social media with it, right? So I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, I got work to do, right? Next day, wheels up, my partner looks at me and goes, bro, we are blowing it. You need to get out of the freaking business, right? So about 3 years ago, I shifted to where maybe it was 50% social media, 50% me running the business. And then in this last month, we launched a new offering where it removed a lot of the qualifications for us. And now we're gonna make a step for me to go even further. So I'm probably gonna gear up towards 90% content, 10% business. So it's been a journey, 8 years of that model.
Yeah.
But it's everything, right? What it comes down to is if I can create 1,000 new leads that turn into 100 new investors that allow us to do 5 more projects per year, that is a better use of my time than me in the calls with our attorneys and structuring deals with our developers. There's a lot of other people that can do that. So it's everything, especially if you're trying to grow.
And your Instagram's been growing a lot lately. You recently put your stuff out there with a stance with the Charlie Kirk stuff.
I did what he did.
But dude, your shit's been popping off lately, man.
Yeah. That was it's interesting, man, because I do say things that get me freaking toasted. Like, people will roast me for things that I do, right? But it was always around investing. So people can talk shit about capitalism, or people can talk shit about greedy and building, and it's not accessible for everybody. That's one thing, right? This whole thing happened with Charlie. It was like, all right, here we go. And that was a different type of backlash, 100%. But what it also was a different type of support, right? The people that jumped in and rallied was unlike anything I've ever experienced. So it's, very important.
I'm kind of cool with going through these purges, right? When Trump got shot, I was probably one of the first people to post about it. And then Donald Trump's son reposted me, so that's when I went viral on that. I lost probably 7,000 Instagram followers that day. I was like, okay, cool. I purged all of these people that really were never going to be buyers of mine anyways. That really were never down for anything I really teach on. They're just kind of here to see what Carlton does, right? And then I gained another 7,000. So it was literally a wash. All these people that are like, wow, there's a tax strategist out there that, understands what's going on politically and wants to take a stance on this. I'm going to go ahead and follow this guy, at least see what he's about. Same thing with the whole Charlie Kirk situation. I just kind of posted saying how sad I was about the whole entire situation. Lost about 3,000 followers, had a few more that flooded in. So, I think it's important to constantly post, but you're going to get more and more of your tribe over time just based off of people naturally building a perception around you based off of what they know about you.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I love it.
Yeah, the challenge I had with that in the beginning was I was trying to put out content that was educational.
Yeah.
Right? How do you create a budget? How do you build credit? Then how do you asset allocate? How do you put it into real estate? And so I didn't want to cut that off. I wanted as many people to have it as possible. But I think where I landed was I actually don't care. Your political beliefs, if they're different than mine, you are welcome. But, there comes a point where you are actually totally comfortable saying, we're not for one another.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing is not for you, and then the next step of it is, and I don't even want you here. And that was something that was a little bit new for me, right? Like, you know, with the Charlie thing also came kind of me being more front and center of my faith, right? And it was like, you know what? If we're now going into that world and like, you're not for me, like, I'm not for you either. Like, all good. And I'm gonna go my way and you go yours.
Love that.
That took me a while to get there though.
Yeah.
You know?
Comfortable in your own skin, brother.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the biggest hack of having the platform, the brand, the podcast, is it gets you into rooms that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. It builds relationships with people that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. I mean, think about how the four of us all met.
Yeah.
It was through podcasting, right? Think Donald Trump Jr. is following you. He's following me as well. It's because of podcasts, right? And you putting yourself out there. Mark Wahlberg just started following me. DJ Borges, we're going down to Tulum. And like, I'm like, dude, let's get a sick ass DJ to come like DJ our event. And so I'm thinking about being like, oh, DJ Borges follows me. I'm like, let me just DM him. And he's like, dude, I'd love to come DJ your all white party. I'm like, he's like, as a matter of fact, I'd love to just come out for the whole retreat. He's like, I love the business and real estate content. He's like, can I just come for the whole retreat? I'm like, yeah. So next thing you know, he's gonna come DJ our whole event. But it's all because of the brand, the platform, the decision to put yourself out there. I mean, you did it 4 or 5 years ago. You put yourself out there and think about the relationships that you've built because of that, and you never know what kind of doors or opportunities will lead from each of those relationships. And it to me, that's the biggest hack. It's not making money, it's not leads, it's that.
Yeah, there's an impact component to it too. Like, I'm sure you guys have all experienced it. Like, you get a certain message and it's like, this helped me create this.
Yeah.
You know, like I had somebody a month ago, right? I'm totally lost. I heard you talking about, you know, Jesus and God. I straight walked him, you know, through the prayer of like accepting the Lord as your Savior through a DM. It was crazy, right? Like, that part is awesome too. You know, so social is powerful for, you know, something beyond business as well.
I'm curious for you guys. We don't do a lot of this, but I want to start doing more of it. I know Ryan Pineda, he told me that he gets a lot of success doing this, but just cold DMing people that don't even follow you to connect with them, collab with them, maybe invite them on the podcast. Do you guys have any success cold DMing people because of your audience, because of your brand, and actually getting a response back?
Yeah. Bryson Tiller,
Okay.
Joey Badass, Ace Hood, The Game, all messaging.
The game. You were going way back.
I was texting the game.
game
I was
got some
texting.
bangers.
I was texting the game this morning. I was texting the game this morning.
What are you guys talking about?
He wants to do a collaboration because he knows I'm running my tax challenge, and he's like, let me sponsor it. Like, I'll post on your story and hype it up. Yeah, because when I went viral with the School of Hard Knocks video, when I was like in my Ferrari in Beverly Hills, and I was like, oh, I don't pay taxes. Like, I think paying taxes.
That video popped off.
They all reached out to me, and I didn't see these DMs because I got so blown up that by the time I went through all them damn DMs, it was like a month later. So then I just started messaging them back, and then they started responding. So I ended up scheduling a call with Joey Badass. I got on a call with Bryson Tiller. I'm working with Ace Hood, and then I've been working with a few other NFL players because of that.
I love that, and it's just the beginning for you too, man.
Yeah, I like working with entertainers.
You already built out the hardest part, and now it's just going to start to really compound. I believe in the hockey stick model, right? Like, everything we do is the hockey stick, especially with the brand and building the audience. It's like this, and it's a grind, and then all of a sudden you hit this point, and it's just straight up.
Yeah.
But you're on that come up right now, and yeah. I could see it.
Most people build a business and then start doing content.
Yeah.
I did the opposite. I worked in my mother's company, started doing content, broke her business because I funneled too many leads there. Then I had to go create a new business. So that was what led me to starting Tax Alchemy. I would have never started Tax Alchemy if my mom's company could grow it capable to the amount of clients we were onboarding. But we never changed our service modeling or anything. We just charged the same prices. So then we had so many clients that were onboarding that were told, you're not gonna have your first call for 90 days later. Damn, you're gonna miss out on being able to do so many tax planning strategies just because how backed up we were. So when I created Tax Alchemy, I said, I'm gonna quadruple my mother's prices, but here's the thing, I'm only gonna work with a certain amount of people, and I'm gonna do all of this for you, so you don't have to worry about doing all that. When you think about actors and celebrities and all these people, bro, they don't wanna have to go get sent paperwork to set up an LLC, then actually have to do all the paperwork themselves. They don't wanna have to actually, read something and then interpret it back to another person and then get that person to go do something. They just want you to do everything for them. And so I started to understand that when I got my first when I got my first celebrity client that came to my mom's company. Her name was Ruby Rose. Do you guys know Ruby Rose?
No, that's a hell of a name though.
Okay, so Ruby Rose is
Ruby
like,
Rose. Let's go, Ruby.
yeah, yeah.
Let's go, Ruby.
Ruby Rose is like I don't know if she's an actress, but she's definitely a rapper, and she's had relationships with different rappers and stuff like Nipsey Hussle and so have you. Anyways, when she onboarded with me, she was super excited about the content I was putting out, and she signed up with my mother's firm. She told me, she's like, hey, I need you guys to go and call my CPA, get all of my tax data from him. If you need to, fly out to his house if he doesn't respond. What the hell is this?
I need you guys to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have a portal. You upload stuff to the portal. Every client uploads stuff to the portal. She's like, why would I upload this to the portal? I just paid you guys. You go get the information. You go upload it. And I was just like, is this how people operate? Like, what dollar amount do I do that at? Like, right? And then it hit me. I was like, there's a price to everything.
Yeah.
I could build a team that can go and communicate with other people's CPAs and play hardball and go get all the tax documents. If you don't want to get those tax documents, sure, I'm just going to charge an extra fee for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you want us to set all this up? You don't want to sign any of the documents that have been sitting in your inbox for the last 2 weeks? Got it. We'll sign a power of attorney. Here's a fee for that. Then I just started creating all of this, and the next thing you know, I have a family office company now that serves these clients, and we're dealing with over 10, 15 families that have like a net worth of over 10 million, managing all of their family affairs. We'll pay off your speeding ticket for you if you don't want to even log into DMV, right? We'll schedule your bill pay for you. Make sure all of your tax returns are getting filed. All of your books are in compliance. Like, it's just so much that you can do for a family outside of just saying, I saved you money on taxes.
Hey guys, if you're looking to get into real estate investing, but you're like, hey, I don't have the time, but you want to participate in the passive income, the tax benefits, and the wealth building, my company, Summers Capital, partners with limited partners, people like yourself, and we go out and buy boutique hotels. We have a fund where we currently own 5 hotels, and we currently have a wait list for investors to participate with us. If you want to learn more to see if this is a fit for you, you can go to summerscapital.com/invest to inquire and get on our wait list and be notified next time we have an opportunity. Again, summerscapital.com/invest. Now back to the show.
So break down what happened with Ty Lopez. We obviously know he got in some trouble with the SEC. He's getting stopped with a big fine. I know there was some questionable things going on with mingling of funds and all that. But what exactly was the business model there?
I mean, I don't know enough to speak on it.
Yeah.
Looks like a big deal. I think something with buying online brands and rolling it up. That's as far as I know. Do you want to speak on it?
Based off of my understanding, he purchased a portfolio company. So Pier 1 Imports had a bunch of subsidiaries underneath it. When he started to solicit that you can invest into these companies, he promised a certain amount of returns to his investors. So what he was doing was he was pulling money from one entity and then funneling money into another entity in order to make sure that he was keeping up with his payouts for his investors. So essentially, if I'm somebody that invests money into one company and you're telling me that this company is cash flow positive and is doing very well, but you're soliciting for new investors and you're pulling in new investors into another entity and then pulling money from one entity to another, that by definition is what we would deem as Ponzi.
Now, the business model was acquiring companies like Pier 1 Imports, a lot of these retail locations that were suffering, and then trying to like bring them back to life, or what was the model there?
No, he was trying to bring it back to life with internet marketing strategies that were going to be able to take all the stores offline. He didn't want any stores to be storefront. Radio Shack, no storefront. Pier 1 Imports, no storefront. We're going to take everything digital, and we're going to use my marketing and advertising skills to be able to run online platforms, and that didn't work out so well.
That's a hard game to win, just to begin with, like the strategy there.
But you know what's important about that? It's not that there was anything wrong with his strategy, even though it didn't work out. You can do that as a strategy. You can bring investors in to do that with a strategy. And if you, unfortunately, don't succeed, that is part of investing, right? That's not what he's getting popped for.
He's getting popped for lying.
He's getting popped for lying and it being a Ponzi scheme, right? You have to, now, they say you can disclose anything and get away with it, but what you are not technically allowed to do is pay you can't pay old investor return with new investor capital. That's what he's getting popped for. So I think it is important to know that. You just can't do that.
How do you think it will end up? If he gets convicted for all this, how does that end up?
I think it's going to go from civil to criminal pretty soon here.
100%.
I think he's going to get slapped with a criminal.
Yeah, I do
And what
too.
type of timeline is that normally?
It goes from him not serving time at all to him having to go serve time.
Yeah.
How much time would you estimate?
2 to 6 years.
Like Jordan Belfort did what, 15 months?
He'd get slapped with 2 to 6 years.
Yeah.
And 120
But that's a
million
big.
bucks.
I mean, you're never gonna have a fund again. That's for sure.
Oh no,
You're never gonna raise money again.
no,
You're
that'll be
never
a
gonna
one.
have trust from
They could
anyone-
slap so
anyone
much
in the
onto
public
that,
again.
like you can never
Yeah.
solicit again. Like they could do so much to him.
Yeah. That's why I say
It does.
like, I
It's
tell
not
people all the
good.
time,
It's
I'm like,
not
dude,
good for all of us because we all sell services
I know.
online, and we're in a trust culture right now to where it's really hard to build trust online because you have AI and all this deep fake happening. That we're having to show up in bigger ways than we've ever had as entrepreneurs online. We can't do automated webinars anymore because people are trying so hard to build trust with us. And then when you have influencers like, Ty Lopez, the Elliots of the world, whatever, that get caught up in these little situations, it makes all of us look less credible,
Yeah.
even though we've been preaching for years the right things.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I thought long and hard about saying something about Ty online
Really?
when that happened.
Why?
Well, number one, I don't like the idea of like jumping on the bandwagon of dissing somebody when he's down. I don't like that, right? But what actually where I ended up saying something is what you just said is, dude, by this massive misstep on your end, you're now screwing it for us, right? Like if you're going to step into the investment world, you can no longer be a online marketer. You better be a fund manager at this point, right? And if you're not, you are going to ruin it for all of us who are actually doing business the correct way. And so I actually got very frustrated in that whole step, right? Like, and this is nothing to like knock anyone who sells information. You can get a lot of value in that, right? But I jumped on some video of him talking about real estate when he tried to sell real estate
And
investment.
he didn't know what NOI was.
And he got pressed on cap rate.
yeah, he didn't know what cap rate was.
He got pressed on cap rate.
I
And
know what
was
cap
like,
rate is.
Oh,
I
bro,
know it.
you are
He went
a-
in circles.
He went in circles. And when I saw that, I was like, all right, bro, you're a fraud. Straight
Oh
up.
shit! I was
Right?
bro. That was where I was like, oh shit.
And then he took the next step, which is I'm going to manage people's money and I'm going to operate business. And he had no place doing that. And then I was like, you know what? You got to call a spade a spade. At this point, if you're going to jump in this industry and put investor capital at risk and then screw what is going on in our industry, bro, I'm going to call it. You know?
You had clues of this going on prior to the news dropping.
Well, yeah, I knew one of the guys that he placed as CEO on one of the companies, and I got word from him almost a year and a half ago, that it all fell apart.
Damn.
Wow.
And so I knew it was coming.
I got a text 2 months ago that Ty's gonna get popped.
Yeah,
2 months ago.
I-
You knew a year ago.
Yeah, but this is what I
That's
didn't know.
crazy.
If you lose investor capital and you do everything by the book, there's still a good chance that
You're
there's
gonna
going to
be
be a
okay.
lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
But you're
right?
still gonna be okay though.
So
you're not
when,
gonna go to jail.
So when I first heard, I was like, oh, there's probably going to be a lawsuit. I did not know the aspects of commingling of funds. And so when I heard that, it was like, this is not good.
Yeah. There's that one guy, whatever that his name's Cornelius, whatever. He pretty much just exposes like gurus online. He has the full lawsuit down to the damn dollar amount of how much money was being moved.
Yeah.
7 million, 10 million. It was somewhere in the realm of them benefiting around $15.2 million. $15.2 million was essentially taken out in distributions. And then when you see Ty saying, come to my fucking mansion, God, it's just all stacked up bad.
I've heard multiple people tell me that have a relationship with them that like they've seen some shady stuff go on. I somehow ended up on like a text thing with them. I don't know them personally, but the last year and a half I get like all these text blasts, and I'm like, these are the sleaziest text blasts trying to sell a $5,000 thing or a $2,000 course, and I'm just like, dude, I'm like, you're a fund manager and this is what you're putting out there?
Well, yeah.
It's a weird look. It's a
And
weird look.
to
bro.
tell you the truth, there is a big crossover that happens, right? Like there's a lot of things you can do, just straight business, that you can expense as marketing, right? We're going to take a jet out to Tulum. You get to expense that, right? In the fund management world, technically you can expense some things, but perception is very important when it comes to investors, right? So now they're looking at the fees that you're drawing and they're going, you're taking my money and buying this car and doing this, which technically you could say, well, this is for marketing, right? So I actually, what I will say, if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, I'm not sure he knew he was doing something wrong.
I
or
don't
not,
think so either.
Right?
Yeah, that's why I feel
think
bad a
he
little
went,
bit.
hey, this is how we do business here.
Yes.
But What I do know, the judge does not take "I didn't know" as an answer.
Because think about how many times we've operated with our LLCs where we just move money over from one LLC to the other LLC. Right? We own the LLCs. They're all sitting at Chase bank account. We're just moving money across. Bro was doing that on a massive fucking scale, bro.
Then here comes the reality of it, right? If you're going to step into this game, don't be naive and ignorant. If you're going to take $120 million of investor capital, you better do your freaking homework, and you better establish the right team.
And don't buy a mansion out in LA or rent a mansion out in LA where you're having these house parties every week with all these models and like it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
So
it does not look right.
Listen, I'll finish it on
It
this.
looks like a movie.
Look, I pray for you. I hope you didn't do anything bad. If you did, let's hope you realize it.
No, man, I'm hoping Ty is good with this situation. I'm hoping that he'll be back on the internet doing his thing in 6 to 8 months. I pray to God that he's okay, but I also pray to God for justice too, bro. Because think about how many investors have been screwed by people who they trusted and they believed, bro. We have a big platform. We all have to do the right things, and that's why I surround myself with people like you guys, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. I tell people all the time, like, that are new, they're getting real estate investing, they want to start syndicating, raising from friends and family. I'm like, guys, if you've never done it before, partner with someone that's done it before successfully before you do it on your own. Because the last thing you want to do is get into some deals and not be able to sleep good at night. Like for me, I always want to sleep good at night knowing I'm being a good custodian of other people's money. And that's it. That's the number one thing I'll say to everyone. The last thing I want to end with is this. I always say this game is all about being in the right rooms, right? And I also say, like, start listening to people closest, or stop listening to people closest to you. Often as friends, family members, coworkers, people that have never done the thing that you're looking to do, and start listening to people that have done the thing that you're looking to do. Whether you're trying to get into fitness, or you're trying to get into Amazon dropshipping, or maybe you're trying to start a real estate business. Like, get in the rooms of people that have done it successfully. And this is the best time ever to be alive, right? 2025, regardless of all the hoopla out there, the bad news on the news, there's always gonna be bad news out there, politically and all the crap that you see on TV. But regardless of all that, this is the best time to be alive, right? Our ability to access information has never been easier than it is today. We have access to YouTube, podcasts are free, social media. You can learn so much just watching, YouTube videos today. And then the ability to get into these rooms, right? We're going down to Tulum right now. We got a retreat, 100+ people down there, and it's gonna be a hell of a room. A lot of business owners, a lot of real estate investors, people that are actually doing the thing, they're walking the walk. And so curious for you guys, what you guys are doing to get in the right rooms. One of the things I'm doing, like I got into Fastlane Drive, Exotic Car Club. They got a bunch of chapters all over the world now. And I'm not really a big car guy, but the networking that comes out of this is insane. It's a lot of business owners, real estate investors, and the networking component that's come out of it has really helped me level up. And so just curious what some of the things you guys are doing to get in the right room, starting with Carlton Dennis.
Yeah, I mean, I had a podcast with Pace like 6 months ago, and I was at a period where I wasn't finding a lot of fulfillment in what I was doing at that current moment in time. And me and Pace had a conversation where he was like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm contemplating whether or not I want to sell my business, and I've been getting approached by people, and I just don't know what to do. He's like, do you feel like you're finding your sense of fulfillment in what you're currently doing right now? And I'm like, yeah, there's days where I do and there's days where I don't. And like, I don't know if I need to exit out of this business to miss out on opportunity, or if I need to continue to ride this out because this is my vision and my passion and what I'm supposed to be doing. And he's like, listen, what if you came and hung out with me at Zenith? And I'm like, what's Zenith? He's like, Zenith is a mastermind where Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins have curated a private room, and it's an invite-only mastermind. And it's for people who aren't trying to make more money. We're all going to make more money by being in the room, Carlton. I mean, come on. Yeah. It's people who are looking to find more fulfillment in their life regardless of business. And it just spoke to me. I was like, okay. I didn't even ask him how much it cost or whatever. Next thing you know, he put together a group text message with this woman named Lauren. I get on a call. I go through this whole series of questions. And she's like, okay, great. It's going to be $250,000 to join this private mastermind. By the way, it's invite only. How do you want to pay? I'm like, shit. Well, is this in alignment with what I'm trying to accomplish? I'd ask myself that. Are there people inside of this mastermind that I can learn from? Absolutely. Am I going to be a big fish or am I going to be a small fish? What's the average revenue in this room? She's like 14 million. Okay, I've just crossed $11 million in my business. I'm the smallest person in the goddamn room. I said yes. Within the first 3 weeks of me joining Zenith, I get a phone call from Dean saying, hey, I'm running Kentucky Derby, or we're going to the Kentucky Derby. Do you mind if I fly you and your wife out? Flies me and my wife, my nanny, and my baby out to Kentucky Derby. I get there and Dean spends 3 to 4 hours with me talking about my relationship with my wife, how I found her, why am I pouring so much time into my business, what makes me the happiest. And I kid you not, out of a lot of the fucking conversations I've had in my life, that was arguably one of the most important fucking conversations I could have ever had, because it re-centered me on why am I doing what I'm doing. Am I doing what I'm doing because I just want to be able to have more money so I can spend time with my family? Okay, that's one thing. Am I doing what I'm doing because I just want to have impact? I want to say when I go to sleep at night, I was able to have this impact. Okay. Am I doing what I'm doing because I know that if it all ended tomorrow, if I didn't achieve that sense of purpose that I had, that I would be rolling over in my fucking grave? And it got to a point where I started to really kind of click down on a list of what am I trying to accomplish? That conversation was everything for me. Since then, I've been able to go to a couple of other masterminds at the Zenith event and got partnered with somebody who incorporated that whole AI concept that I told you guys earlier. And I've been able to create efficiencies inside of my business that have already given me back that $250,000 and tenfold in how we've been able to grow our business. So money, love, speed, surrounding yourself with the right people is extremely important. And sometimes you just have to be willing to say yes, even though you don't know exactly what's on the other side of the opportunity.
That's really good, man. That's really good. I've heard some great things about Dean. I've never met him personally.
He's amazing.
Yeah, I know Pace hangs out with him a lot. Jack, I know you do a ton of in-person events. You're a big fan of these retreats and in-person stuff. But what are some of the things you're doing to get into certain networks?
Yeah, I think you can't be afraid of spending some money to get into the right rooms, or specifically the right masterminds, the mentorship groups. I like to find people that I think are the absolute best at a specific topic. Also people that I resonate super well with. They're making money that I want to make, they're living a life that I want to live, and I want to spend as much time with them as I possibly can. And oftentimes that takes tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, like Carlton mentioned, and I try to pay them that money. For example, Carlton, we were friends before it, but then I paid him 30 grand to learn directly from him on tax strategy, and now I consider myself someone that's pretty decent at tax strategy because I was willing to pay the money, I was able to spend the time with you, and because of that, I'm now relatively decent at tax strategy, which I really appreciate. And so I think when you find people that you admire or you look up to or you want to learn directly from, it often takes significant money to learn directly from them. And so I have several different mentors over the last few years that I've paid good money to learn directly from them.
I love that, man. I love that.
And that's been, I think, a big needle mover in my hockey stick growth for sure, because you can learn things. I could have learned tax strategy by myself, and maybe it took me 10 years. Maybe it took me 5 years. Don't know the number, but I paid X amount of money, I learned from the best, and I learned in maybe 6 months. So that's a perfect example of paying for speed. And also another thing, I say this sometimes on my social media, and it's a little controversial, I think paying for friends is actually a really great concept. Because a lot of these high net worth individuals, people that are crushing it, it's hard to get their attention unless you're paying to be in their program, paying to go to their event, paying for their time, etc. But once you then build a relationship with them within whatever program they have, then they realize you're pretty cool, and then you build a friendship from there. So I've done that with several of my mentors over the last few years, and they became my mentor first and then my friend second. And I think that's a pretty good way to go about it.
I love that. I love that. Mikey, what about you? I know you're doing a ton of networking on a golf course, poker night. What are you doing to get in the right rooms?
I might be the oddball out here. Not much, actually. Never been a part of a mastermind, never had coaches.
You're coming out of Tulum right now with
this
us.
is perfect, but the things that I've done have always been like this. Yeah. It's like I have a friend that runs a group and has an event. He's like, hey, can you speak at it? And then I get to get plugged in there or with you. But up until this point, I've never really focused on that. Just doors have kind of been opened. Now I do a lot to get my name out there and build relationships, but from the educational side, I've always maybe taken a different approach, or maybe the view I've always had is you either pay for the education or you outsource it. And so in my first business, a lot of what I learned was in real-time experience, and that was probably my opportunity to get a coach. right? If I wanted to streamline that, that's probably when I needed to do it. But by the time we sold our business, I felt like I had all the education I needed. And then after that, it just became hiring talent. You know, so I don't know if one's better than the other. That's just been kind of the path
Trial and
I've
error.
taken so
I
far.
like it.
But your background's unique. You're a pro skateboarder. You had the audience. You had the influence already. And then you started St. Archer Bruin, had a $70+ million exit, and then you got into real estate investing. So you already had that kind of like upbringing. So you didn't need to go do that. Like the doors were already open for you. People were coming to you.
Where it would have been, yeah. So that's another thing. Like I was a famous pro skateboarder. So it was like doors open that I really had no business from an intellect standpoint being there, but they're like, Mikey Taylor, freaking door open.
Yeah.
So I did get to kind of skip some steps there 100%. But from the education side, like, yeah, going from skateboarding in my first business, that was the learning opportunity.
And if I could just piggyback that real quick, I think based on Mikey's amazing track record with skateboarding and the awards and everything, the notoriety that came from that, I think when you have an awesome personal brand, doors will open much easier. And especially like if your cool life is portrayed on your Instagram, people can see that and find ways to connect with you otherwise. And I think that becomes a lot easier to connect with other people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult to capture your whole life and put it on Instagram. Some people have no Instagram, and I respect that a lot. But there are many benefits if you can show your cool life on Instagram so other people can connect with it.
Yeah, and then this is gonna sound weird to say, but then you kind of become a tool, right? It's like, you know, people, hey, Mikey Taylor's in the room, and then you get to like do that, right? Like I had one of my friends plays for the Rams. I'm like, hey bro, you wanna come play poker? And he's like, for sure. So he plays poker, then everyone else there, bro, you played for the Rams? This is so sick, you know? It just, Kobe's my boy, but it's like, thanks dog, you helped me out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Who's your buddy with the Rams?
His name's Kobe Parkinson. He's
Oh,
a
I love it.
freaking
Yeah, he's the
man.
defensive line.
Yeah,
Great.
he is the man. He's a beast, and he's the best.
He's been collabing with Indomitian Sue for a little while.
Yeah.
And JT, Jonathan Taylor. How did you find confidence to post the cool shit online? Like, I'll post stuff on my story, but like, I almost feel bad posting the cool shit that I do like to my feed, because I feel like I don't want my followers to feel like they're
A certain type of way.
a certain type of way. Like, one, I don't want to act like I'm flexing.
Yeah.
And one, my clients pay me, right, to save them money. I don't want the perception to be I'm blowing money on experiences or fun things when I'm teaching you to save money on taxes. I'm teaching you to invest money. So like, I struggle with that sometimes, and I have a really cool lifestyle, but like, I don't like showing all of it because I don't want people to be misconstrued.
But here's the thing: as much as you're like, hey, I don't want to put that out there, and I agree, there's a tasteless way to do it. Like I always joke, like the person with the Lamborghini Huracan is like not really rich, right? They don't really have the money. It's like a young dude trying to look like he has money, and he's like all over social media, like, look at my car. That's like completely classless. That's the wrong way to do it. But like the way you do it inspires a lot of people. And like, if you're humbly doing it, think about how many people are seeing that and they're like, damn, I'm inspired. I don't know about you, but when I go like step onto like someone's like nice boat, or like get on a jet like this, or like go into someone's really nice pad, I'm fucking inspired. I'm like, dude, how can I do that too? Like, what do I need to do to level up so I can do this too? A lot of people are inspired. And the ones that are not inspired, they're like, oh, like, fuck you. Like, that's the wrong type of room that you should be attracting anyways. And so I would challenge you and say that most of your audience is inspired when you're showing things that you're doing and experiences that you get to experience.
And also to add to that, one other side of that is, one, you can show off the things that money buys, and that has its pros and cons. But in addition to that, you can show the things that money can't exactly buy, like running a marathon, or doing your Muay Thai training, or a specific sport. Or like, I just got my private pilot's license, like obviously you need to buy the plane, but like a lot of time and energy went into becoming a pilot. So you can show things that money can't exactly buy. Yes. It's not just, I just bought this new car, check it out. I just bought this new boat, check it out. Although the boat's sick. But you can showcase other talents or skills that you have that might motivate people to also learn that skill or get that discipline of Muay Thai like you do, etc. I think you do a fantastic job of just the overall branding. What I really personally don't like is when someone just goes all talking head content and then there's no personal life on their feed. It's like, okay, what do you do outside of the talking head in the studio? So I prioritize the personal stuff, and slowly I've been incorporating more of the podcast style content. But I think you need a really strong balance of the personal and then the value business content.
But you're right. There's like, you got to be careful because you know, you got clients, you got members in Tax Alchemy, investors, right? And so you got to be careful about how you portray it. And so it is a fine line. And I always think like very hard before I post something like that, like what is this going to look like in the eyes of others? But it's always got to be like educational. It's always got to be inspirational for me and talk more about like what it took to get this, you know? And so I think to go full circle, I think the majority of your audience, if you really break it down, 90% plus are probably inspired by what you're doing, you know? Yeah.
I normally stick with the 4 F's: faith, family, food, and fitness.
Right.
If I know I'm posting about one of these, it's going to inspire somebody. Because those are the areas of my life that I spend a lot of my time focusing on, right? Spending time with my family and my faith. I dedicate a lot of my time to fitness. I don't really post a whole lot of things outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really post like the new watch or the flashy car or whatever. But I know when people see that I have stuff like that, it inspires them. So I'm like trying to strategically insert things that I know motivate and inspire people. And what you just said, it's not always about what things you can buy. It could be those intrinsic things like the fact that I've been kicking ass in Muay Thai lately.
Those 3 F's you mentioned, money can't buy.
Yeah.
You know, the trainer helps in Muay Thai, but those 3 F's, money can't buy.
No.
You're putting the time in to make that reality in those 3 to 4 F's, and people I think really respect that.
Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine text me over the weekend, and she's killing it. She has her own online fitness brand. She's like killing it right now, and she texted me. She goes, "Hey, I've always wanted this 911 Turbo GT3 RS, and like really nice car." And she's like, "But I'm stuck. Like I don't know what to do. Should I buy this 911 GT3 RS or should I go buy another real estate deal?" She's like, "What would you do if you were me?" And I gave her a contrarian advice based on her being a creator that makes her money online, that I wouldn't give advice to for someone that doesn't make their money online. And I said, look, for you, the move right here, what I would do is go buy that nice car, because as a function of it, you're gonna level up, your network's gonna level up, you're gonna make more money as a function of it. And once you make more money, then take that money to go buy that piece of real estate. But I wouldn't give that advice to just everyone, right? And I gave that advice to her. And so I started thinking about, like, for me, like the first time I like spent up to go get the nicer place, I was like, damn, like I know I shouldn't do that. And society tells you shouldn't do that. It's a waste of money. But I did it anyways, and I leaned into it. And it didn't feel comfortable initially. But what I found as a function of it is everything leveled up. I created a place for like people to network and hang out. I brought people back together. I mean, like earlier this year, Grant Cardone was hanging out at my place with Sabrina, and we hosted a meetup together. And it's really leveled everything up. But it's not just that. It's like I wake up every day now with this crazy view. I look at myself as a higher quality, a higher caliber person because of it. I have more confidence. My network leveled up, and I realized I made way more money as a function of it. And so now, whenever it's like a decision to like go get the nicer boat or go get the nicer car, every time I do it, everything levels up as a function of it. And so now I don't get uncomfortable with making a decision. I'm like, okay, if I want to do it, and I think if I can rationalize some sort of ROI from it, I'm gonna do it. And so I'm curious like how you guys view that. And obviously like I only give this advice if it's like you're making your money online, you're a content creator, you're building your brand. And if you're not, I would never give this advice. But curious, Carlton, how do you approach this viewpoint here?
I was 25 years old when I bought a Porsche 718 Cayman. It was black. I had $26,000 in my bank account. The down payment was $8,000. Told nobody about it. If I would have told my dad or told my mom, they'd have been like, "What the hell are you doing?" I still to this day don't know how I got approved with my credit score to buy that car. The car payment was $880 a month. I was making maybe $2,500 a month. So you could just see how stretched I was.
Yeah.
That car changed everything for me, bro.
Really?
It changed everything.
How so?
How long
I was
ago
the
was
only
this?
person, I'm 32.
How long ago?
I was 25, 24,
Oh,
25,
wow,
yeah,
ago.
24, 25 years old. So yeah, it was quite a while ago. That being said, I was the only person that was living in this apartment complex. By the way, my apartment complex I was living in had electric stoves, like, you know, it was busted up. No one in the apartment complex had a Mercedes or a BMW. Everyone had normal brand cars, and I come rolling in with a Porsche. Everyone in the apartment complex was like, who the fuck would buy a car like that lives here? And you know what it forced me to do? It forced me to fucking leave. Me and my brother Kenny literally had to move out of that apartment complex because I got afraid someone was gonna break into the car because it was just out unprotected. When we both moved, I moved to an apartment complex away from where my mom's office was, which was like right down the street from the house, over to Newport Beach, a wealthier part of Orange County. Now I got into an apartment complex where some people here are W-2, some people are here business owners. Not everyone here is W-2.
Sure.
Now I started networking with other people. I saw in the driveway that some people had BMWs, some people had Porsches, and I met my friend Charlie, who started my YouTube, or got me to start my YouTube channel. So by me leveling up my car, it forced me to get out of this environment I was around. I'm like, dude, I feel weird being around all these people, and I'm driving something I shouldn't be driving here. You know what I'm saying? I'm pulling up to this apartment complex. The perception looks off. So I moved into an apartment complex that was even more expensive, that I could barely afford after I just upgraded my car. And now I'm surrounded by people who are giving me new information. They're telling me, that was a great idea that you bought that car. When are you buying the next car, right? What are your investments looking like? Do you own crypto? Then I'm like, oh God, now I need to learn crypto. And I went down a whole freaking funnel there. So yeah, man, it was all about just getting myself to finally say yes. And then I started leveling up from there.
That's really good. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys so much, man. Coming down to Tulum, man. I'm so grateful for all the people coming down here, all the guest speakers, all of our sponsors, including Bill, and all the members. My team's coming down, and I always say this game's about being in the right rooms, man. I'm just feeling grateful, and I'm very excited. I'm feeling loose coming down here, and I'm grateful for all you guys and our friendship that we have together. On behalf of Carlton Dennis, Jack McCall, my man Mikey Taylor, I'm Rich Summers. Listeners, thanks for tuning. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.